Hello guys, and it's the Golden Soldier here, and what you're watching is a free-for-all on Black Ops 2 with the MSMC, which is a beast of a gun. I like playing free-for-all, not so much in Black Ops 2, but I did this a little bit back, like a week ago. Anyways, I believe a guy, yeah, watch this. Watch him where he's, oh, I didn't show it, but he spawned like right behind me, and I think he was the guy I killed too, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me. But it's pretty bad. But what I want to be talking about, so I'm going to get right to the topic here, is when I broke my arm. Uh, this had to be, oh gosh, I can't even remember. It was a couple years back. I think I might have talked about this on my old channel, but I'm talking about it again. So I was at my grandparents' house, or my nana's, and then my step grandma, or grandpa, step grandpa. Okay, and so they live on they're in Iowa. They used to live on legitly a huge hill. It was big. And I'm like, and my mom was helping with a garage sale, and my aunt was there and whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I'm gonna skate down this hill. And I went down like a little bit at first and just jumped off, and it was like hard to catch myself because of how fast I was going and whatnot, because it's a big hill. And I'm like, okay, after a while I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go down all the way. And I'm like, Mom, can you pick me up at the bottom? And she's like, no, you can walk back up. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it. And they're like, oh, just go ahead, it'll be fine, it'll be fun. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. So I start going down the hill, and it gets going pretty fast. And then I'm going like, and then I pick up a ton of speed, and I'm going extremely fast. And I'm like, oh gosh. And it starts to level out a little bit, and then it started going way steep downhill again. I'm like, I've got to get off, otherwise. I knew there was a barbed wire fence at the end, but for some reason that didn't register as a bad thing. It was just like the end of the road and then a barbed wire fence. So I just kept going, or I kept going for a little bit down that steeper part, and I'm like, I gotta get off. And so I was starting to get speed wobbles too. If you guys don't know what those are, it's like where you're going so fast your board starts to move like back and forth. It happens a lot more if you have your trucks really loose, so you can turn like more. The board will move more. That happens a lot more then. But so I'm like, oh gosh, you wipe out once you start getting speed wobbles. If they get bad enough, you'll wipe out. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get off. So I just jump off. I didn't try to jump in the grass or anything. Just jump right onto the cement. So what happened? I broke my left big toe, my big toe on my left foot. I broke my radius and ulna. So what happened is I jumped off, my toe nailed the ground, broke that. My knee hit the ground because my knee was all scraped up, and then I fell back onto my arm, and my arm broke in two places. And so I'm like sitting there. It was 3 years back, but I was old enough to the point where I wasn't cry. I have a very high pain tolerance also, which helps. So, like, I was just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I know it's broken because it was twisted all funny and whatever. I'm like, I'm going to try to walk up this. So I grab my skateboard and I start trying to walk up. And, like, I knew my arm was broken, but I really didn't think anything of my toe at the time, even though it hurt so bad. Like, I just didn't ever hear of people breaking their toes. So I didn't really think of it at all. But it was. And so I'm trying to walk up with a broken toe, and especially with your big toe, it hurts bad. Like, my arm was nothing compared to how bad my toe hurt. And it's just hard to walk, too, because your big toe gives you all your balance and whatever. So I was not walking up the hill very well. And I got up there. I fell down because it hurt too much. And I started yelling for my mom, screaming. She didn't hear me. Some guy that lives down there comes out, and he's like, are you hurt? And I'm like, I don't know. And so he got my mom hurt, and she like freaked out, ran down the hill because my mom is like that and caring. And so she gets me, and she gets the car to come down. They bring down a what's it called? A tablecloth. wrap it around my arm, and we're in a small town of about 1,000 people, so there's no one there. And I'm so they drive me to the clinic, which was just about to close. They got me in, and I'm like in severe pain, and crap, I am out of time. Okay, so if you guys did enjoy, leave a like. Definitely leave a like if you want to hear part two, because I'll do another part of this continued off of getting to the clinic, because I had to do a lot of other stuff too. I'm not completely done, so if you guys do want to see the next part, leave a like, and see you guys later.